Breaking news, guys. Pete Alonso is going on the IL for the New York Mets. Luis Guillorme will be recalled. This sucks for the New York Mets. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let's get into the video. But Pete Alonso is such a big part of this team. The fact that he is going on the IL, it really sucks for the New York Mets, guys. Pete Alonso, this is how it all started. He got hit in the Braves series, from a Charlie Morton pitch in his left wrist. And, it was a fastball, a 97 miles per hour fastball. And this really sucks for the New York Mets because they didn't know what was going to happen. They just knew that Pete Alonso had x-rays in Atlanta, and they were negative. So that was good news. But then it seems like they had to do, further testing, a CT scan in Pittsburgh. And it really does suck for the Mets. And now it looks like Billy Epler, is putting Pete Alonso on the IL. We don't really have a timeline for Pete Alonso just yet, but maybe 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a month. That's what they're saying. That's what John Heyman was saying. That's what these guys are saying. So the fact that Pete Alonso is going on the IL, this really sucks for the New York Mets. This is awful, awful, awful news for this New York Mets team, guys. A big part of, Pete Alonso is the power game. Pete Alonso, he brings power, he brings good defense, he brings a great attitude, and he brings that captain material. And the fact that Pete Alonso is not going to be on this team for possibly 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a month, this is awful news. This is possibly the worst news that you could possibly get. Because the Braves just swept the Mets. And the fact that, Pete Alonso is going to the IL now, this just really does suck for the New York Mets. This is awful news. This is the worst possible news that you can possibly get because Pete Alonso is their best power hitter. He brings that power, and that's what the Mets, really lack. And the fact that Pete Alonso is not going to be on this team for 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a month. This is awful news, but it looks like Mark Vientos, Mark Canha are definitely going to get more playing time at first base. And yeah, man, this is awful news. The fact that Pete Alonso is not going to be on this team for 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a month. We hope that he will be back sooner than later, but he's a big part of this team. He has over 20 home runs, he was leading the league in home runs, and now he's going to be on the shelf. This really is awful news. Pete Alonso, big part of this team. Like I said, man, over 20 home runs. There's no really positive way to spin this. Just in general. But the Mets, they got to find a way to turn the page. They got to find a way to get some productiveness, to get some power. They got to find a way to get something for, from somebody, whether it's Francisco Alvarez, whether it is Mark Canha, whether it is Mark Vientos. They need power. And without Pete Alonso, they're going to lack a lot of power. So, yeah, man, Pete Alonso is the guy that you want in that spot. You want him to win you the game. You want him, just like that Tampa Bay game, in Citi Field when he hit that grand slam. And we look like, it was bases loaded. Pete Alonso hit a grand slam and he won the game. It was a walk-off. That's what you want for Pete Alonso. That's what the type of power he provides. He's a dangerous hitter. And the fact that Pete Alonso is not going to be in the lineup, this is awful, awful, awful news. The worst news that you can possibly get for a Mets team that really is in the dumps right now, that just got swept by the Braves. The Mets got to find a way to push the page, man. They got to find a way to turn the page. They got to find a way to win games, and they got to find a way to do something, to win games and make up some ground in the division and maybe get close and maybe beat the Braves later on. But listen, it's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy, and yeah. Now the Mets are going, to face the Pirates and stuff. That's not going to be easy either. The Pirates are pretty good. But just in general, this video is about Pete Alonso and the fact that he's on the IL, guys. This really is awful, awful news. This is the worst news that you can possibly get. Let me know what you guys think about Pete Alonso. Are you guys sad? Are you guys disappointed? Do you guys think that Pete Alonso can, come back sooner rather than later? Do you guys think that the Mets can, hold down the fort? Do you guys think that they can win some games? Do you guys think that they can, have a spark and win some games and make up some ground in the division? Because we got 99 games left for the New York Mets, guys. That's a lot of games. That's a lot of games. It's not a little bit of games, man. There's a lot of baseball to be played. So the Mets can turn the page. There is a way that they can turn the page, but they got to start winning games, and they got to get on a streak. because the Braves are not slowing down. And yeah, man, the Braves are not slowing down. So let's go Mets, baby. Let's go. Let's you know, get some energy on this team. And I love the young kids. I love what they're providing. But man, this really sucks. Pete Alonso going on the IL. You know, Billy Epler, you know, Buck Showalter said he didn't want to say anything in the post conference. He didn't want to say anything about Pete Alonso, and he didn't want to handicap it. That's how he phrased it. So the fact that, you know, Billy Epler, you know, basically is putting, you know, Pete Alonso on the IL. This is awful news. This is the worst news that you could possibly get. So I don't know exactly where the Mets go from here, but I know that Mark Vientos, Mark Canha have to start providing some power because, man, the fact that the Mets are going to be, you know, without Pete Alonso for, you know, a little bit, this really does suck for the New York Mets. But yeah, man, that's going to be the end of the video. I love you guys so much. I appreciate you guys so much. Just wanted to give you guys the latest on Pete Alonso and what was going on with him. And yeah, man, I love you guys so much. Have more videos on the way for you guys. And yeah, I love GM for life. Let's go Mets, baby.